Alright, hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome in. We're getting ready to do an hour of yoga this morning. It's gonna be great. What do you think, Bear? You ready for it? Bear's excited. You may see glimpses of my dog throughout this. Hopefully that is a good time for you. We'll have a mix of kind of gentle, and then we'll do a couple of sets where we move just a little bit quickly. We'll do a few sun salutations today just to get the heart pumping. But it's beautiful outside, and I'm just happy to be here with all of you. Hopefully everybody's week is going well. So far, so good. Alright, we still have the beautiful record button on, so we're doing good there. Ugh. We are gonna start seated today. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and make your way on down to the floor. Gonna stretch out my back here just a little bit before we get moving. And just welcome you all into having some time with yourselves and with yoga this morning. So as you're finding your way down to the floor, go ahead and find a nice seated, comfortable position. Whether that's with your legs crossed or not. I've got mine crossed here. Your hands can find your lap. They can be palms up if you want to be in a more receiving posture, palms down if you want to be more grounded. Maybe they're just relaxed in your lap altogether. Just gonna take a little bit of time here to drop in together, just to be in this space with each other and kind of clear our minds out a little bit before we get started. The cicadas are nice and loud where I am. Hopefully you can hear those on here. We're just gonna check in with our breath here this morning. You don't have to change anything about it yet, just be with it intentionally for a minute. I'm going to explore deepening that breath just a little bit. So inviting the breath all the way down into your stomach. Maybe if you're breathing in through your nose, maybe you invite the breath to come out your mouth. Just exhale it out with a bit of an audible sigh this morning. And as you're sighing out, let your shoulders relax on those exhales. That audible breath that you breathe out is called the Ujjayi breath, or the ocean breath. It's almost that feeling like you're fogging up a mirror. Two more of those. I'm going to start to invite a little bit of motion here in our backs. This is called Sufi Grind, or Siri Om. You may notice that I'm seated up on a blanket today. I'd really recommend that if you have any yoga props, that you utilize those. So for me, I like to sit on a blanket. It just helps to elevate my hips a little bit up off the floor. I also have a few blocks that I'll use a little later on, just to help me in that ease in some of the pose. But you can find anything that you have around the house, maybe a couple of books, any old blanket, maybe a small couch pillow, or a thin a thin pillow from your bed that you probably should have thrown away years ago, but you still have. I think I'm telling on myself here. And you can switch directions the other way whenever you're ready. Just opening up that spine, really grinding those sit bones into the ground. This can be as big or as small as you want it. If you want, you can think about really bringing those shoulders back as you come forward and rounding the back out as you go back behind. I like to invite my breath to be with me on this movement. So I inhale as I come forward and exhale as I move backwards. Inhaling forwards, exhaling backwards. I like to get some of those audible exhales out as well. Just helps me feel like I'm really releasing the tension from the day when I do that. Slowly making your circles just a little smaller until we're back in our comfortable seated position here. Gonna move into some cat-cow next, so we're gonna go to tabletop position. I'm gonna continue to use my blanket here since I'm on my deck. I need just a little more cushion under my knees. So tabletop position, our hands are underneath our shoulders, our knees are underneath our hips, and our back is in a nice neutral position. We're going to drop that belly as we raise our head and our hips into cow. And as we move the other way and we really extend that back up towards the ceiling into cat. So dropping our head down, bringing our tailbone to the floor, having a nice large arch in our back. We're going to inhale back into cow, bringing those head and hips up, exhaling into cat. Really bringing that belly button all the way into your spine here. I invite you to find a little bit of your own motion here. So inhaling again as you come into cow, exhaling as you move into cat. You can make these nice, deep, big breaths if you want and linger in these poses for a while. Or maybe you speed it up just a little bit. Get that spine really working this morning. I'm also going to find just a little bit of motion forwards and backwards here just to kind of invite my hips into this. Maybe you look over your left shoulder at your left hip. Invite some bend in your spine there, looking over your right shoulder, your right hip. Again, just inviting some other directional motion in your spine here this morning. Kind of moving forward and backwards, we're going to go into child's pose next. So to do that from here, take your toes, bring your toes together, and widen out your knees so they're about to the edges of your mat. And then we're going to hinge back from the hips. Sink those hips to the floor. Our arms are going to reach out in front of us. And we're going to release our head to the floor. This pose is one that you should be able to feel in your shoulders, in your lower back. If at any point in the set today you're feeling overwhelmed or there's a pose that you don't know, you're always welcome to come back here to child's pose to have a nice rest for a moment. Alright, coming forward into our tabletop position. We're going to go ahead and go to the floor here. So gently, maybe with your feet, your knees, your belly, your chest. We're going to bring our hands up by our shoulders. We're going to go into the Cobra Pose. So on your next inhale, we're just going to peel the head and the chest up off the floor. Legs are zipped together. Hips are pressing into the floor. We're not using our hands here to get us up. I could take my hands off of this and still be able to hold this pose. So this is our baby cobra. On your next exhale, release down to the mat. And just relax there for a minute. Maybe rub your forehead out against the ground. That always feels a little nice for me. And on your next inhale, inhale up into that baby cobra. And exhale down. Inhaling up. Maybe you go all the way up to your full cobra this time, inviting those arms in. And exhaling all the way back down. Inhaling up into cobra. More baby cobra. And exhaling back down. From here we're going to move into downward dog. So we're going to tuck our toes underneath us. And then we are going to lead with our hips towards the sky. So inviting those hips to come up towards the sky. Sometimes I'll bend my knees and bring my hips up and then straighten my knees out. Okay. Your heels may or may not reach the ground. Okay, mine don't. That's just fine. But you should feel a nice stretch all the way back through your hamstrings there. Maybe you bend one leg, straighten the other leg. Go back and forth a few times just to feel that sort of stretch this morning. This is probably your first downward dog of the day. So we don't need to hold our static pose too much just yet. We're going to shift forward into a plank position, or if you want, you can drop your knees down. And then we're going to knees, belly, chest, chin, back down to the floor. Inhale up into baby cobra. And exhaling back into downward dog. Still pedaling out those feet if that feels better to you. Let's go through that again. So shifting our weight forward into a plank position. If you'd like, you can lower your knees to the ground here. Then gently lower yourself down, knees, belly, chest, chin. And inhale either into full cobra or baby cobra, whichever cobra you're feeling today. And on your next exhale, one more time into downward dog. And let's come back to tabletop position for a moment. So getting our bodies warmed up just a little bit. Find any more of these poses that you need right here. Maybe you do another baby cobra. Maybe you find yourself back in child's pose for a moment. Just inviting a little bit of movement in those hips. Holding downward dog for a little bit of time can be a struggle for some people because it is an inversion where your head is below your heart. So for some people that can be a little uncomfortable, but I like to just kind of do a few of those at the start of the day. Not for too long, but we'll do a few more as we get going. Whenever you are ready, we are going to meet back up in downward dog. Taking that hip to the sky, our heels are pressing down towards the floor. We're bringing our sternum towards our thighs. We're going to look forward towards our thumbs and just walk our feet towards our thumbs into our forward fold. So our lower back is released. Your knees are slightly bent. Head is relaxed. Your arms can dangle, or if you'd like, maybe you cross your arms here. Shake your head yes and no, making sure it's nice and relaxed. Inviting your whole upper body just waterfall over the rest of you. And we're going to make some connection with our body here. So as we come up, take your hands, put them on your shins, walk them up your knees, walk them up your hips. If you want, you can make some contact with your chest and the rest of your body here. Again, those inversions Doing too many of them in a row can make some folks lightheaded, so I just like to do that contact occasionally with your body to kind of wake the rest of you up as you're coming up. Shaking out our legs just a little bit. We're going to do the Willow Twist next, which is technically a movement that we get from Qigong. It's not actually like a yoga pose, but it's another way just to kind of wake up our spine this morning. As you're twisting, you're wanting to make some contact with your body, firm but gentle. So you should hear a little bit of a slap sound, kind of as you connect with your body. This always feels real good on my low back. Twisting from above the hips. If this feels really intense on your knees or your ankles, you can kind of pick those up with you as you move. For me, I prefer to keep them planted and really just focus on the twist from the hips up. I feel like I could do this forever. This just feels so nice. Wherever you're making contact with your body, try to move up and down. You know, maybe you make contact with your hips for a little bit. For me, I make a lot of contact with my low back because sitting in chairs all day with not excellent posture, that's what needs some attention for me. But maybe for some folks it's chest or shoulders. Making little C shapes and inviting some love to your kidneys. Why not? Alright, slowing that down just a little bit. I'm going to do a side stretch here. It's maybe slightly different than what you're thinking from before. We're going to take our right hand and push it up towards the sky. And take our left hand and push it down towards the ground. So really inviting this sort of stretch longitudinally. Is that the right word I'm looking for there? I think so. And as you inhale and exhale, really feel that breath travel all the way down through this side. And exhale, hands down. Inhale and switch. So bring your left hand up. And take that right hand down towards the floor. Your gaze can be anywhere as comfortable for you. Maybe it is with that upper hand. Maybe it's down to your lower hand. Maybe it's somewhere here in the middle. And exhale to center. Inhale, switching. Nice big inhale as you reach that hand up. Exhale as you push the other hand down. If you'd like, you can invite a slight bend here. And exhale to center. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, pushing that lower hand down. Excellent. So now we're going to take a big inhale, both hands all the way up. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our hands down into heart center. Pose of stillness. Samastitihi, if you know the Sanskrit for it. It's a nice time just to check in with your body. It should be a little warmer now than when you started. Just notice the left half of your body and the right half of your body. Feel if anything is more tense on one side than another. Maybe inviting a couple of breaths in to wherever there is some tension right now in your body. Just bringing a lot of gratitude in today. Grateful for you for taking this time. Grateful for taking the time out of my day just to be here and investing in myself. When you're ready, you can take another big inhale up. This time we're going to leave our hands up. We're going to bring our palms together at the top. We're going to really root our feet into the floor here, about hips width apart. Feel free to pick those feet up and put them back down if you'd like. We're really going to ground our feet into the floor. Then we're going to activate every muscle from our feet up to our hands. So we're feeling our feet firmly on the floor, planted into the floor. Our ankles are engaged, our calves are engaged, our knees are drawn up but not quite locked. Our thighs are engaged, our core is engaged, our chest, our arms. If you're somebody who's maybe invited your hands all the way up, relax those down just a little and continue to engage them. This is a version of the mountain pose. But I love this one because it takes up space. This space is for you to have and to take up and be strong and sturdy in. And as you exhale, release your arms down and shake it out. I'm going to do one more of those where we just kind of ground up from the floor. So let's build it from the floor this time. Our feet are about hips distance apart. And kind of pick your toes up and put them back down. Really anchor yourself in, kind of the corners, the balls of your feet and your heels. Then we're going to engage from there up. So engage your ankles, engage your calves. Feel those knees rise up as you engage some of the muscles there. Your thighs. Engage that pelvic floor, okay? Engage our core. And then we're going to invite our hands up and overhead and relax the shoulders down. Almost like you're holding a beach ball here. But engage your shoulders and your upper back. Engage your arms. Just feel a lot of strength in this pose. And exhale, relaxing down, shaking it out. All right, we're going to move to the top of our mat here. We're going to go into some sun salutations. So I'm going to shift my blanket out of the way here just a little bit for that. I'm going to do a slow teach of the sun salutation first, and then we'll kind of speed it up. So this first time through will be a little slow. So we're going to come to the front of our mat. And we're going to take a nice big inhale in. Thumbs are going to hook at the top. And we're just going to invite a very slight back bend in our back. And next exhale, hands come down to heart center. Again, inhale up. Lock those thumbs together. Slight back bend. This time as we exhale, we're going to go all the way to the ground. So folding over into that Bhutanasana forward fold. We're going to let our hands find the ground here. And we're going to step back with one foot and then the other foot into a bit of a plank position. And then we're going to go knees, belly, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale into baby cobra. And exhale into downward dog. Again, taking this time in down dog, just to pedal out the feet a little bit. Gonna look towards our thumbs and inhale and step forward. And exhale back into one more forward fold here. Your next inhale, we're going to come all the way up and overhead. And exhaling back, hands to heart center. I'll do that one more time from this angle just so you can see it. Inhaling, both hands above the head, lock your thumbs, invite a slight back bend. Exhale, diving all the way down to the floor, hands are in front of you. Inhale, stepping back into a plank position. Exhaling in, down to the ground. Inhaling up into our cobra or baby cobra. And exhaling back into down dog. Inhaling as you step forward. Exhaling into the forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping those arms all the way up. Slight back bend. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Relax here for just a moment. Do a couple more of these. If you're familiar with the sun salutations, you're welcome to go at your own pace here. but I am going to talk through it as we go. So starting with our hands at heart center. Inhale, hands come all the way up. Exhaling, diving forward into that forward fold. Hands find our mat. Gonna inhale and step back into a plank position. Exhale, knees, belly, chest, chin to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhaling back into downward dog. Looking forward and inhaling as we walk those feet forward. Exhaling into forward fold. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Slight back bend. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Having a pause here. Alright, we're going to do 2 more of these. We're going to go just a little quicker this time. Okay. Feel free to take this at your own speed. Okay, if this is too quick for you or not quick enough, please feel free to go at your own speed here. So, inhaling, hands up, slight back bend, locking those thumbs together. Exhaling, diving forward, hands finding the mat. Inhaling as we step back into our plank position. Exhaling as we slowly lower ourselves to the floor. You can chaturanga here if that's in your practice. Inhaling, baby cobra. Exhaling into downward dog. Inhaling as we walk, step, hop, jump forward to those thumbs. Exhale into forward fold. Inhale as we come all the way up. Finding a slight back bend. Exhale, pose of stillness. Hands to heart center. 1 more of those. Big inhale up. Slight back bend, thumbs lock. Exhale, dive into the floor. Hands meet the mat. Inhale as you step back into a plank. Exhale, you can either chaturanga or knees, belly, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale, maybe you go for a full cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, stepping those feet to the front. Or maybe you hop to the front. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, big inhale all the way up, sweeping our hands up. Slight back bend, finding that stretch. And exhaling. Samastitihi, hands to heart center. Pausing here. Noticing where your breath is now. It might be a little quicker than it was before. Really connect that thumb to your sternum. See if you can feel that heartbeat in there. We're waking up our body this morning. Alright, and shake it out a little bit. If you'd like to grab some water, feel free to go ahead and do that at any point. And then we are going to get back to it here with some standing poses. So we've done our mountain arms up. This time we're going to do our standard Tadasana, or mountain pose. So we're going to start with our feet about hips distance apart. And again, we're going to root into our feet. So maybe think about picking up your toes, putting them back down. And then building those legs, the strength of the legs. I'm going to invite my palms to come forward here. And on my next inhale, I'm going to think about tightening the muscles of my body. And really letting my head reach to the ceiling, my feet to ground down through the floor. Feel this pose of strength. Tadasana. Your next exhale, relax your muscles down, shake them out for a second. We're going to move into our tree pose. So we want to continue to have that very stable base that mountain pose had for us, but we're just going to shift our weight over into that right foot. Okay. Your left leg may start to come up just a little bit, so I start by bringing my left heel to my leg. My toes are still on the ground here. As you start to feel stable in that right leg, maybe you bring your left foot up to your calf. We don't want to leave it on the knee, so if it's in your practice and you'd like to take it all the way to your thigh, I'd recommend just picking it up and moving it all the way to your thigh. And if you'd like, you can grow some branches. Maybe they're out wide, maybe they are up above your head, maybe your branches are feeling like staying at heart center, maybe they just want to be at your hip. Any place you want your branches is just fine. Taking our hands back to our hips, and then slowly releasing that left leg down to the floor. And shaking out the leg we're just standing on. Do that same thing on the other side now. Just maybe notice kind of how your legs feel. That sort of left and right awareness. Find a nice stable base again as if we were doing mountain pose. But then just shift your weight over into that left foot. Kind of explore where that is in your foot. Your right foot is going to start to kind of drift off the floor here. It's going to meet our leg. Maybe your toes are still on the ground. If you'd like, you can take that foot up to your calf. Or if it feels comfortable for you, maybe you pick up that leg, bypassing the knee, placing it on your thigh in our tree pose. Going to grow some branches next. Maybe your branches come out to the side. Maybe they're the same as before. Maybe they're different from before. I want to find a focal point about 6 feet in front of us and 6 feet up, or something in the distance that doesn't move. And focus on that point, Focus on that point. It may help a little on your balance here. And exhaling, gently bringing that leg and our arms back down. I want to be really intentional here how we get out of poses. I want to really control those movements as well. We're going to invite our legs to be nice and wide now. Ooh, hello, wasp. Not a big fan of the wasp variety. I invite all creatures when I'm doing my mat, but wasps can maybe observe from a distance. So our legs are nice and wide here. Let's take our right foot and we're going to turn it out to the side here. We're going to start just kind of bending and straightening that leg. We're going to go into a warrior two pose, but I want to just get a little bit of dynamic movement in our knees and our hips before we move into a static pose. Maybe you exhale as you bend and inhale as you straighten. I don't know if you can hear that pop, that's my ankle. It's just a little click in it now. Don't scare me like that, Mr. Wasp. I don't know what you are. It's like a brilliantly blue wasp-looking creature. Alright, we're going to come all the way into our warrior two now. So then the next bend, we're going to stay there. Okay. We don't want our knee to come past our ankle. We're just inviting a bit of a 90-degree bend there. We're going to inhale, bringing our hands up parallel to the floor. Going to look over that right knee that's bent, over those right middle fingers, into our full expression of warrior two. As we exhale, we're going to invite our hands up into what's known as a reverse warrior, a peaceful warrior. And on your next exhale, exhaling back into warrior two. Inhale, invite those arms to move into our peaceful warrior. And exhale into warrior two. We're going to straighten that front leg and move into a triangle pose. So straightening that front knee, reaching towards the front, and then dipping our body over into triangle pose. We want that right arm to be resting against a shin. There should be some firm contact there. you have a block, I'm gonna grab a block here. Feel free to use those. Maybe you rest that hand on a block. Really opening up through the chest here. Maybe inviting your gaze up and over that left arm. Heart reaching towards your ceiling. And on your next exhale, coming back down into our warrior two. Gonna find a little bit of movement here. So we're gonna inhale into reverse warrior. Exhale into warrior two. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Reach and exhale into triangle. Breathing through this a few times. On your next exhale, coming back up to warrior two. Reverse warrior. Warrior two. Straightening that front leg, reaching forward, back down into triangle. And coming back up into warrior two. Dropping those hands to the side, bringing both feet to the long side of our mat here, and swapping out our legs. So we're going to take our left foot this time and point it to the short end of our mat. Our right back leg is straight, front leg, left leg is bent. Just bend and straighten this a few times, just to kind of even out our sides a little bit. I wanted to add an extended side angle on that other side, and I completely forgot my middle step there, so I apologize for that. We'll have to hit extended side angle here in a moment. I think that just feels so good coming through the upper side of your body. Maybe invite some breath here now. So inhaling as you're straightening that left leg, exhaling as you bend. Inhaling, straighten, exhaling, bend. As you're bending that left leg, make sure that your knee is tracking over towards your ankle. Sometimes that knee likes to fall in. We just want to make sure that the knee is tracking straight over our ankle here. The next bend, we're going to hold it. We're going to invite our arms up parallel to the floor, looking over that left middle finger into our full expression of warrior two. Holding this pose here, really grounding down through our feet, activating both our front and back foot, feeling the strength in our thighs and our core. In your next exhale, we're going to invite the arms. The front arm comes up over the head, back arm down into our reverse or peaceful warrior expression. And on your next exhale, back into full expression of warrior two. Exhaling into reverse warrior. Taking a big inhale here. And exhaling warrior two. We're going to straighten that front leg next. Reach with the left arm and take it down to that left shin. We're inviting our right arm to come all the way up and over our head as we really open up our chest. Think about rotating your heart up towards the ceiling. Neck can be in whatever position is comfortable for you here. Straight forward, down towards the ground, up towards your upper hand. Any which way. And on your next exhale, bending that front leg, coming back into warrior two. Inhaling, deep breath. Exhale into reverse warrior. Inhale here. Exhale into warrior two. Inhale, straighten that front leg. And exhale as you dive over into triangle pose. A few breaths here. Your next exhale, bringing that back up into Warrior Two. We'll do one more of those. Inhale. Exhale into Reverse Warrior. Left hand comes up over the head. Inhale here. Exhale into Warrior Two. Your next inhale, straighten that front leg. Your next exhale, reach forward and down to that left shin or thigh, opening up the chest into triangle. Exhaling back into Warrior Two. And inhaling, we're going to slowly step our feet back together here. All right, shake out those legs just a little bit. Again, feel free to grab a quick drink of water. All right, still doing good on time here. How are you feeling? How are those ankles feeling? I'm going to skip over extended side angle. I do love that one, but I want to get into a few other poses. If you'd like to do extended side angle, maybe just keep that one in the back of your mind. You can always come back to that. Or if you want to hit it now as we're kind of in this transition period, feel free. And do one more wide-legged kind of position here before we move down to our mats. So widen your legs quite a bit, definitely farther than hip distance apart. Our toes are facing the long edge of the mat. We're going to place our hands at our hips, big breath in. And on your exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips straight over. Stopping at about our 90-degree angle here. Going to invite our hands to come in front of us and to meet the ground. And then we're going to surrender our back into this wide-legged forward fold. Really let that head and chest dangle. We're going to walk our hands over to our left foot, breathing into the back of that left leg here. And moving back towards center. Inhale over towards that right leg. And coming back to center. We're going to find a little bit of breath here. So we're going to inhale again to our left leg. Exhale as we walk back to center. Inhale over to your right leg. Exhale as you walk back to center. Inhale over to your left leg. Exhale back to center. Inhale towards your right leg. And exhale back to center. On your next inhale, find your hands on your hips and use those core muscles to straighten that back all the way back out. And shake out those legs just a little bit. All right, we're going to move to some floor positions next, some seated positions. So go ahead and head on down to your mat there. Wow. Going to start with Janu Shirshasana, or the half dragonfly. Let's see if I can put my leg on the mat here so you can actually see it. So we're going to straighten out our right leg at about a 45-degree angle in front of us. Our left leg comes in, left foot is on our right thigh. And as we exhale, we're just going to slowly reach our arms forward into the center area here. If you'd like, you can keep your back straight and see how far you can lean into the pose this way. Odds are it may not be very far, and that's okay. Or if you'd like, you can surrender your back into the pose. It's not a right way or a wrong way to do this. Just a couple of different thoughts on the type of movement that you might like here. Switching legs, so left leg comes out in front of you at about a 45-degree angle. Right leg comes into your thigh. And exhaling your body over. Maybe you keep that back nice and straight, or maybe you surrender over into the pose. We're going to move into butterfly position next. So our feet are going to come together in front of us. You may have done this. I know our gym teacher in elementary school had us do this one, so it's pretty common. Our feet, the bottoms of our feet are going to stay together. You might flap those knees just a little bit to invite a little bit of motion into your hips before we go into the still pose. Grabbing at our big toes, we're just going to, again, hinge at the hips. If you want to keep your back nice and straight, that's a fine way to do this. Or again, you can surrender all the way down into this pose, folding at the hips over your big toes. I really love this pose. I think it's a really nice hip opener for me. So I just like to stay here and have a couple of big deep breaths all the way into my hips. And when you're ready, coming up, I'm going to do a seated twist here. So I'm going to invite my right leg straight in front of me. My left leg is going to bend. If you want, you can also cross it over your right leg, but I'm just going to leave mine next to my right leg for now. I'm going to grab that bent knee and lead with my left hand back behind me, inviting a little bit of a twist in my spine. When you inhale, think about lengthening that spine. And as you exhale, twisting just ever so slightly further into the pose. And switching sides, left leg comes out straight in front of you. Right knee finds a bend. If you want, you can cross it over that left leg. Holding onto your knee, your right arm reaches back behind. Inviting our gaze over that right shoulder. Inhaling as we lengthen our spine. Exhaling, inviting slightly more twist. And coming back to center here. We're going to do one core exercise nice and quick. It's called the boat pose. So we're going to bend our knees so they're flat on the floor in front of us. Hands are going to come back behind our knees. We're going to invite our back to sink ever so slightly, so we're almost at a 45-degree angle here. And then you can either pick up one leg or both legs. Knees staying relatively close to your chest here. And if you're ready, releasing those hands to the side into boat pose. It's okay if you find yourself shaking here. We have an instructor who likes to say that when shaking is happening, so are miracles. So I like to hold on to that because I just shake constantly in boat pose. You can invite your hands in different places, whatever's comfortable for you. And when you're ready, inviting your arms back of your knees and releasing your feet down. You can do a bit of a counter pose, so we're going to move to our stomach. Forehead is on the ground, our hands are down by our sides, palms are facing up. Some people might know this as a Superman pose. Here in yoga it's called the Locust Pose. So as we inhale, we're going to peel our feet, our knees, our thighs off the mat. Our head, our chest, our arms off the ground. Eyes are towards the mat. Feet are pointed behind us. Your next exhale, relaxing down to the mat. Your next inhale, peeling head, chest off the floor, peeling feet, thighs, knees off the floor. So only our hips are on the floor now. And exhaling back down to the mat. Going to turn over onto our backs. Take your time, moving over. We're just going to pull our knees up into our chest and invite some motion side to side, some motion front and back. Maybe you make some circles with your knees. Just massaging out that sacrum for a minute. Your knees can be close together or a little wider, whichever is more comfortable for you here. And when you're ready, just let those feet drop to the floor. Going to take our left ankle and place it just above our right knee so that our legs are in a bit of a figure 4 position here. If you feel this stretch in your hips here as you kind of push that left knee out, you are welcome to stay here. Or if you want, you can pick that right foot up, take your fingers, interlace them back behind your knee, and kind of pull that knee into yourself. That may help deepen the stretch a little for you. Keeping your head and your shoulders on the mat. Your next exhale, letting that foot come back gently to the floor, swapping legs. So right ankle is going to find just above our right kneecap. You kind of push that knee out. If this is feeling plenty for you, you don't have to go any further. If you'd like a little more stretch, bringing your hands behind that left knee and bringing it closer in towards your chest. Both our toes are staying dorsiflexed here. And exhaling back down to the mat. Getting closer to Shavasana now, so we're going to do one more pose before we move into that, and I'll kind of invite you to gather anything that you may need for Shavasana here in a minute. We're going to make an X figure with our body, so our feet are at kind of opposite corners here, our arms are at opposite corners. We're going to do the banana asana, which I just love saying, banana asana. Left foot is going to come over our right ankle. Left hand is going to grab our right wrist as we make this banana shape with our body. Breathing deeply into the left side of our body here. And exhaling back to our X. Taking our right foot across our left ankle. Right hand grabs left wrist. Same thing. Inviting a nice deep breath all the way through the right side of our body here. And coming back to our X pose. Whenever you're ready, we're going to invite our hands to come down to our sides. If there are any other poses that you would like to take in this practice, now would be a good time to do that. If there's anything else that your heart is just really feeling. Otherwise, we're going to move towards Shavasana. So we will all meet in Shavasana. For those of you already there, your feet are relaxed out in front of you, arms are out to your side, either down for grounding, up for receiving. And we'll just give a little bit of time here for anybody else to join us. As we're all coming into Shavasana here, just going to start to notice the connection of our bodies with our mat. Feeling it under our heels, under our legs, under our backs, under our arms, under our head, just really holding us there. And allow yourself to sink into the floor. To relax every muscle in your body and let the floor really cradle you here. Take a little bit of time to just be aware of your body. How do you feel now in Shavasana compared to when you started today? Bringing our attention to our breath. Notice where you feel your breath most today. Do you feel it in your nose, in your throat, in your chest, in your stomach, or do you feel it somewhere else entirely? So you breathe in from your nose, invite that cool sensation throughout your body. As you exhale, feel that warmth of your breath leaving. Inviting whatever thoughts may come here, and wishing them well as you focus back in on your breath and the sensations in your body right now. Start to invite a little bit of movement into your toes and into your fingers. Maybe roll your head from left to right, massaging the back of your head on the floor. Inviting those motions to get a little bigger in your wrists and in your legs, in your arms. And when you're ready, just going to roll over onto our left side. Just pausing there on our side for a moment in the fetal position. Resting just a little longer. Putting a lot of gratitude towards our body today. Thanking it for being with us through this last hour. When you're ready, using your arms to push you back up into our comfortable seated position. I want to thank all of you so incredibly much for taking the time today out of your schedule to be here with me, for taking this hour for yourself. And I'm just incredibly thankful that you are giving me the opportunity to learn this way and to be here with me. I wish you all the best on the rest of your day and on your week. I wish you peace and happiness and healthiness. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. as always, if you have any feedback, if anything didn't flow really well, or if you're really sad about that extended side angle in there, please feel free to reach out. I am still learning and growing in this, so any feedback that you might have is much appreciated, and I really look forward to getting to do this with you again soon. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks.